Hey guys, it's Jalen. As you can, and I'm back for another video. As you guys can read by the title of this video, we're gonna be getting into the time that I lost my V card at 19. Yes, I know a lot of y'all bitches are gonna find that hard to believe, but yeah, baby, I was saving myself. I didn't have sex at an early age like most of you bitches. I was not sucking dick at Well, I'm not gonna say I wasn't sucking dick, but I did not let anybody fuck me at the age of 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. I waited till I was 19. I feel like 19 was a perfect time, and it was with somebody that I really wanted to be with at the time. And if y'all know this story time about how I fought my ex, yeah, if y'all remember that story time, y'all remember Joshua? That's what I fucking named him in the video. Y'all remember Joshua? Joshua was the one that lost my virginity. Now, mind you, none of my friends, nobody at the time, nobody knew that I was a virgin. I lied to everybody. I lied to everybody about being a virgin. And I'm going to get into why I lied to everybody about being a virgin. But first, make sure you subscribe to this channel. I mean, did you think I was just going to start talking about the story time and you're not subscribed yet? Like, come on, y'all. You need to subscribe to this channel. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Give this video a big fat thumbs up. And make sure you share this video with your friends. Turn on those post notifications so you know every time I post a brand new video. And yeah, y'all, without further ado, let's get right on into this story time, because it's juicy, y'all.
JB Moro, go and get your bag.
Okay, guys, so as you guys know, this story takes place in 2019. If you guys watched the I Fought My Ex story time, you guys will know that me and Joshua, we were talking and we were trying to get into a relationship. So, before I get into the actual story, let me tell y'all why I lied to everybody about about when I lost my virginity. I was in a group of friends who everybody lost their virginity at such a young age, and they were also sexually fluid, and I learned my lesson from this because the only other person that knows he took my virginity, the only other two people, well, now everybody on YouTube knows, and if these people watch this video, especially if Joshua watches this video, Joshua will know that he took my virginity. But it was a secret that I was going to keep to the grave with me, but then I said, you know what, fuck it. Who's it hurting? Telling somebody that they took my virginity. I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's a win for them. I'm not really gaining much from it, so I really don't care to keep that anymore. The only two people that really knew that he took my virginity was Fraudulent and Pretty. Those were the only two people that knew that that man took my virginity. Other than that, nobody else really knew. Not even Irrelevant. Irrelevant thought I was just some bitch that was fucking and fucking and fucking and fucking and fucking. And being that Irrelevant thought that, I guess and Irrelevant's ex too, and everybody else that didn't like me after. And mind you, these people all liked me and they all fucked with me. But once Mark went and started to lie and talk shit about me and say different things about me that weren't true, they believed it. Why? Because I had lied to everybody already and said that I had lost my virginity way before. So a lot of the things that Mark was saying about me was that I was a hoe, that I would bring niggas over there and I would be fucking people, that I prostitute and stuff like that, and none of that is true. Mark made all of that up simply because I didn't want to be as close with Mark anymore. I made new friends. Mark is a jealous person. Mark is a Pisces, if y'all didn't know that. So with Mark doing all of those things, and I'm going to get into it more when I tell the story time of how I actually ended up getting kicked out of Irrelevant's house. And it wasn't even Irrelevant who kicked me out. It was his ex-boyfriend. So I'm going to get into that story time a little bit later. That's a whole nother video. But, yeah, y'all, let's just get into it. I really felt that I needed to lie about my virginity. I needed to lie about it because I was around a whole bunch of people that, you know, they had lost their virginity at so young, and they all bonded over that. And I just felt like, you know, if I would have told them that I was still a virgin, they would have kind of bullied me for it, and they would have kind of made fun of me for it. And I just didn't want to get attacked or made fun of, and I was very insecure about that because I always treat my body like a temple. So, you know, they were letting so many guys hit them and fuck them and do all of that, and me being 19 and still being a virgin, it was kind of embarrassing to me at the time. And now that I've grown, honestly, I waited to the perfect time to lose my virginity. I don't think I did anything wrong. Yes, did I, you know, suck a couple dicks? Probably like 2 or 3.
Why would she say that? Like,
I was never that type of bitch to be a whore, a hoe, a slut. Maybe after I had lost my virginity, that's when all that freak shit started happening. Because after I had lost my virginity, me and Irrelevant, we would be fucking all the time. Mind you, I was Irrelevant side chick. Y'all already know that I was Irrelevant side chick. And y'all already know, if y'all watched the story time about me fighting my ex, y'all would already know that I had fought him all because I had cheated on him with Irrelevant.
Hold on that. Hold on. Now, hold on. I'm not going to say that. Hold on.
Mind you, he had took my virginity, and I guess he unlocked a whole level of freaky out of me. And from the last quarter of 2019 to I say probably 2021 is probably how long that freakiness lasts. And then I really went back to my original roots of wanting to be with one guy, wanting one guy to make me happy, needing only attention from one guy, and needing sex from only one guy. And I went back to my original, self. But throughout 2020, me and Irrelevant, when we started dating, we were having multiple different threesomes with different people and foursomes and stuff like that. So that kind of freaky side came out of me after I lost my virginity. And we're going to get into it a little bit more. So, yeah. So on this day, if you guys didn't know, this was during the time in August. This was in August. So in August, I was really still going to school. I was still going to BMCC. And I was back and forth between Jersey and my father's house in Brooklyn. My father's house in Brooklyn was much closer to BMCC. So I knew that I should have just went to fucking BMCC for my dad's house. So I had told my mom, I said, well, hey, I'll spend time with you some days during the week, but I have to go to school most of the time, and dad's house is more close to the school. My mother used to get annoyed by those types of things, and she would constantly be annoyed that, I would be going to my dad's house to go to school, but I needed to get to school fast, and getting to school from Jersey was so hard. And BMCC is a community college, so there's no dorms, there's nothing like that. I don't know about now if BMCC changed their shit, but when I was going to BMCC at the time, there was none of that. It was like going to high school. And fun fact, if you guys remember Summer, I talked about Summer in the Storytime that I just posted about how me and my best friend slept with the same dude. Yeah, so if y'all watched that story time, y'all will know that y'all will know Summer. But me and Summer actually ended up going to the same BMCC. We had the same English professor and everything. Me and Summer, we basically went to the same school. So yeah, with that being said, you guys now know that I was going to BMCC. So with me going to BMCC, I had confessed to my mother. I was like, oh, well, I'm going to go to school. Mind you, I had went to school earlier on in the day. And being that I had went to school early on in the day, I was just going to go quickly to my dad's house once I finished my English class in the morning. I used to have my English class at 9 o'clock in the morning. It was an hour-long class. And when I finished that class, I brought my stuff back to my father's house. And I had, started texting Irrelevant. And I was talking to Irrelevant. And I was like, oh, Irrelevant, hey, what you doing today? Blah, 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 blah. Trying to see what Irrelevant was doing. And mind you, this all takes place after I had already met Joshua. So being that I had already met Joshua, I knew that Joshua frequently stayed at Irrelevant's place. And mind you, this took place on a Monday. So Joshua was fine as hell. Mind you, at this point, me and Joshua had already been, conversating, had already been slowly kind of talking and getting to know each other. And that's when he had revealed to me that he thought I was cute. He wanted to take me out. So Joshua ends up taking me out this day. So I ended up going out with Joshua. And being that I was going out with Joshua, I knew that I had to keep more of a clearer head, and I had to go into it a little bit more positive because, mind you, I'm still a virgin at this time. I didn't lose my virginity, but I didn't lie to a whole group of people saying that I wasn't a virgin. And, Mark knew the truth, and Mark, just like I said, he continuously tried to lie on me. So I was going into it damn, so now I'm going to have to really just act as if I'm not a virgin, because I don't want a guy to know that I'm a virgin and then come for me for it and not feel as attracted to me because I'm a virgin. At the time, I thought guys thought if you were a virgin, that was disgusting. I really thought that guys thought that, and it was kind of scary to me because I really believed that, guys hated virgins, and I felt unattractive because I was a virgin. And especially being a virgin at 19, I felt extremely unattractive, and I didn't, want to be a virgin at 19. I was like, damn, I really should have lost it earlier. And these are the things I used to think when I was younger. And it really took a toll on me, because everybody, you know, kind of had this idea of me that I was just this promiscuous little bitch, when meanwhile the real me was a boy that was just very shy and, you know, very coy, and I was just very poised and petite, and I just never had the confidence to really go ahead and lose my virginity. And it just tore me up on the inside that everybody around me kind of lost their virginity and I wasn't, you know, one to lose it. So I ended up going on this date with Joshua. Now, mind you, Joshua knows, and Joshua's well aware that I had to, you know, that I was staying with my dad and I was going to BMCC. So being that Joshua was well aware of this, I had said, you know what, I'm going to hang out with him. So I went to go hang out with Joshua. Joshua ended up getting Jollibees. It was like he ended up getting Jollibees. He was trying Jollibees. He had me try some of the Jollibees. Mind you, this is when Jollibees had first came to New York. And he was trying it, and he let me try some of it, and I fell in love with it. So that whole day, we were walking on the piers. So if you know, by 34th Street, by like Penn Station, you know where the Long Island Railroad Yard is. A lot of y'all who aren't from New York aren't going to know what I'm talking about. But there's this whole pathway by the water that you can walk down. And we ended up just walking down everything. And that's when he told me, and that's when I found out that he was dating the other boy, Dylan. I think I named him Dylan in the I Fought My Ex Storytime. So yeah, this is when he reveals to me that he was trying to date Dylan, and Dylan was playing with him. Dylan kept going back and forth between, I don't know if I like you, I don't know if I want to be with you. And it kind of confused him. And I told him, I said, well, you know, my experience with Dylan, I was trying to talk to Dylan. I was trying to get to know Dylan. I really liked Dylan, and I really wanted to be with Dylan. But Dylan just gave me hoe vibes. And when I found out that Dylan was still messing with his ex while trying to talk to me, it kind of made me feel some type of way. So I was expressing that to Joshua, and Joshua basically was kind of like, you know, we kind of like bonded over the fact that we shared a situation in common. I would never claim Dylan to be an ex. We never really dated. We just talked. So I would say situationship.
Oh, now that's how you clear a bitch. I don't know who that hoe is.
But even saying situationship is kind of like because it really wasn't much of anything. To be honest, it really wasn't much of anything. I never once opened my mouth and said that we dated. Never once opened my mouth and came on this goddamn internet saying that we were a couple. Never once did that. I literally said that it was a situationship, that you were somebody I was interested in, that you were somebody I was crushing on. So I don't know why Dylan got a kick out of trying to tell everybody that I was obsessed with him, because that was never the case. Never really had that much of an obsession over you. I liked you, and actually you were the one that approached me at Pride.
Period! 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 Period!
And Dylan was the one that wanted to talk to me. So to this day, Dylan will probably still spin the story like that, but girl, I really don't give a fuck, because I know how I felt and I know what the situation was. It was giving situationship. It was giving, I was trying to get to be with you, and I was trying to get to know who you are, but you was just a trash ass individual. So I just chose not to continue it and chose not to pursue you. Joshua kind of just going through this date and kind of going through the day real smoothly and everything. And so Joshua ends up asking me like, oh, do you want to come back with me to Irrelevant's house? We could do that. So we ended up going back to Irrelevant's house, and he was going, because I believe he was leaving because he worked Tuesday. So I was like, okay, cool, whatever. And I had basically had it in my head that I wanted to, you know, be with him, and I wanted to get to know him a little bit more. So he ended up taking me to Irrelevant's house. And when he ended up taking me to Irrelevant's house, Irrelevant was there. Mind you, Irrelevant's ex, who we're going to call Frog. Yeah, because we're just going to call him a frog, because he just kind of looked like a frog. And Irrelevant also let me know that his whole family, Irrelevant's whole family, referred to this man as a frog. So that's what Irrelevant had told me. And so we're just going to call him Frog. We're just going to run with it. So basically, Frog wasn't there. I guess Frog had left for work. So, you know, he's taking me back to Irrelevant's place. And I'm kind of like skeptical on what's going to happen. So, you know, the whole time I'm flirting. I'm being real flirty. We're on the train and I'm being real flirty with Joshua. just trying to turn up the flirting, trying to be a little bit more sexy, trying to give off that like sex siren kind of vibes. And I was just being real flirtatious with Mr. Joshua. And so when we got there, you know, Irrelevant was sitting there in the living room. He was just chilling around. Irrelevant was playing the game. And so the whole point of me going back to Irrelevant's house was so that because he had to go back there anyways because he had to leave the next day. So on top of that, he wanted to show me this game that he had that he had played, that he had let Irrelevant borrow, I guess. And that was the whole purpose for him going over there. So then he ends up going into the room where his stuff is, and I follow him into Irrelevant's bedroom. Now, mind you, Irrelevant is in the living room. Irrelevant was the only one in the house. Irrelevant was by himself. He didn't know anything that was going on. So, Irrelevant, I know that whether Irrelevant is watching this video or not, I know Irrelevant remembers this day distinctively because Irrelevant was like, girl, I didn't know what the fuck was going on, where you guys had disappeared off to. I know you guys went to the room, but I didn't know what was going on. So, if y'all can't already guess by now, we all went to the room, and, you know, Joshua was just so sexy to me, and I was just like, damn, like, I want to see what he's about. So we start kissing and getting into things, and I'm laying on the bed, and this was my first time receiving head from a male, too. So I was like, damn, like, this is my first time receiving head from a guy. This is the first time getting my ass ate. And, you know, I was giving him head, but he basically was treating me like I was a little princess, and he was just pleasing me. I actually did finish, so that was an interesting time. And then while we were still trying to figure out what was going to happen next, my dad ends up giving me a phone call, and he's like, oh, well, are you coming back to my house? Like, what you doing? I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm leaving right now. I'm about to get on the train and head back over there. I tell you, at the time, I honestly was in bliss because I've never had a guy really treat me like that and kiss all over my body and make me feel real comfortable while intercourse was taking place. I've never had a guy do that for me. So knowing that he was doing those things for me, it made me feel a little bit more warm inside, and it made me open up to the idea of losing my virginity. And I didn't know how I was going to approach it. I didn't know if I wanted to really tell him that I was still a virgin, which I never ended up telling him that I was a virgin. So like I said, if he sees this video, he's going to find out that he took my virginity. But I never really, you know, knew that he was a virgin. So, I mean, he was a virgin. He never really knew that I was a virgin. Like, okay, well, I'm going to go. And mind you, me and him was in the room for about an hour. So all of what I just mentioned to y'all of us almost doing the do lasted, I think, for about like an hour maybe. And then when we came out the room, he was showing me the game and everything, and Irrelevant was looking like, girl, what the fuck did y'all just do? Irrelevant was very confused as to what was going on. And so I had it in my head. I was like, girl, it's no big deal. It's really nothing. It's really not that much of a situation. So I was like, you know, this is my first time going over to Irrelevant's house. And, well, not my first time going over to Irrelevant's house, but it's my first time of doing something in somebody else's house.
Are you not ashamed of yourself? Are you not embarrassed? This is really embarrassing.
And I genuinely did not fucking know Irrelevant all that well yet. Irrelevant had revealed to me that he always had a crush on me. From the time he saw me at Pride, he always felt like me and him would be something. So, with that being said, Irrelevant kind of looked a little jealous that we were doing stuff, because Irrelevant probably wanted to join in on the fun, which he ended up later revealing to me that we should have told him that we was all going to the room because Irrelevant wanted to join. Ew. And you know, I'm a cute, fine ass motherfucker. At the time, my body was more tea than it is now. So anytime a guy would see me, guys would want to do everything possible, everything in the book with me. Really wanted to do everything with me. He even admitted that to me. He's like, yeah, I should have joined y'all in the room, but I was over there in the living room trying to be cool and trying to be calm about the situation. I was like, yeah, nigga, you know that you wanted to do something with me. You've been wanting to do something with me. So let's not spin the story like I wanted you first. You've been wanted me. You didn't like the fact that I was with Joshua. So being that you didn't like the fact that I was with Joshua, Irrelevant, you decided that you were going to have me sleep with you, so that I ended up cheating on my man with you, your man, and fucking, what the fuck did I name this boy? I can't remember what I named him, but if y'all watched the I Had to Hide It story time of Pretty Fucking the Dude, yeah, that situation happened. So I'm gonna get into more of that at a later time. Like I said, I'm telling the story. I'm gonna be telling the story time of how I got kicked out of Irrelevant's house, but I gotta give that backstory so y'all know what the fuck went down and what the fuck actually happened. So, yeah, y'all. I ended up leaving, and the whole time I'm texting him, I'm texting Joshua, I'm letting Joshua know when I get there, and I let Joshua know, I said, oh, well, I'm gonna get up early to wash clothes, because I remember I told you guys I was staying with my dad temporarily, and I had accumulated enough laundry to go wash clothes, so I went to go do that. I went to go wash my laundry and take care of my stuff. So I'm thinking like, yeah, it's about to be lit. Now, mind you, I was like, okay, this shit is about to be lit. So the next day comes, and I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, I should really do something spontaneous and crazy. So I was planning on meeting up with, I was going to meet up with Joshua. I just said his name. Sorry, it's taking me a minute to like remember what I named him. I was gonna go meet up with Joshua. So the whole time I'm in the laundromat texting him, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in the laundromat. I'm gonna meet up with you, da 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 da. And from the laundromat, I had went and brought my clean clothes back to my father's house, and then I had met up with Joshua in the train station. So this day, I'm meeting up with Joshua in the train station. Joshua was just kind of telling me a little bit of like what was going on with him, and I was honestly kind of like a little bit nervous to be going on date number 2. But I went on date number 2. I didn't really care. I was kind of nervous to going. Like I said, I was nervous to go on date number 2. So we ended up getting on the train. We ended up stopping at Atlantic Terminal. I remember this like the back of my hand. We ended up going to Wingstop, and he ended up ordering wings. So we're sitting there eating wings, getting food, being real cute and shit. And he's being real cute with me, and I'm being real cute with him, and we're getting to know each other a little bit more. So then he pops the question. He's like, would you want to come back to my house with me? Now, mind you, he did not live in New York. He used to just come up here to visit all the time, and he did not live in New York, y'all. I don't want to say where he lived, but just know that he did not live in New York, and we had to take the train to go down there. So, yeah, he ended up asking me if I wanted to go back with him, and I was like, honestly, I wouldn't mind doing that, because my mother thinks that I'm just over here chilling and I'm just having a good time, so I can come back whenever. Because at the end of the day, I'm grown. I'm in college. I was just in this new grown era, so I said, why not? So then we ended up taking a walk on the Manhattan Bridge. It was kind of romantic. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. It was really romantic. And once we walked across the Manhattan Bridge, we kind of walked back. And as we're walking back, we're just sitting there, you know, talking. And by now it was nighttime already. It was already nighttime at this point, because we had met up later in the day. So it was already nighttime at this point, and he was already texting me. And, you know, he was not texting me. We were already, you know, hanging out. And we had walked across the Manhattan Bridge. It was really romantic. And I really enjoyed it. So then we ended up going back to Irrelevant's house. So then he ended up telling Irrelevant, like, oh yeah, he's coming back to such and such place with me. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I'm about to go with him. It's about to be lit. So we ended up going downtown. We ended up getting on the fucking train to go down there. Whole time we're on the train, he's talking to me about like his job, what he does for a living. And I'm like, oh, yo, that's so cool. I always wanted to have a job like that. I've wanted to work for MTA for a long time. He doesn't work for MTA, but I was telling him that I wanted to work for MTA. So me telling y'all that I wanted to work for MTA at one point should give y'all a hint of what he does, but it's not MTA. So I told him, I said, you know, I've always wanted to work for MTA. I always wanted to be a conductor. I've always wanted to do something like that. And back then, I was really heavy into trains. I kind of am still now, but not as much, because I've grown up into liking other things and wanting other things for my life and wanting other things as a career. So I didn't really now I don't really give working for MTA a thought, but back then that's all I really wanted to do, because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was a fresh college kid coming out of fucking college. Then I ended up dropping out because I realized college wasn't for me. And then that's when I started to pursue the industry of nails. Mind you, I've always done my own nails, but I really started to pursue the industry of nails after this point, after me dropping out and everything, and realizing that's what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. And then also doing YouTube. So it was multiple different things that I wanted to do, but YouTube and my nail career, those are the two main things that I was focused on after I had dropped out of school. So I was kind of like, you know, explaining that to him, like, I don't know, I don't feel like college is really for me. I really just want to go to cosmetology school, get my nail license, just be the amazing nail tech that I know I can be. Clearly, I mean, look at my nails, like, look at the art. But I knew that I wanted that for myself. So I wasn't going to sit there and stop myself from getting that goal. I'm going to reach my goals regardless of who is telling me I can't do it. I'm always going to do it. So I ended up telling him, like, that's something that I really want to do. But, I also want to work for MTA. So I don't know where my mind is going. So we're just, getting to know each other. He's explaining to me things about the train that we're on, the railway, and how everything works. And I'm just fascinated because this man was so intelligent. He still is intelligent to this day. I don't speak to him, but Joshua is just very intelligent type of dude, very smart. He's not a stupid guy. He's very smart, and that's also what attracted me to him because I love smart guys. I love when guys are intelligent, when guys use their brains. I love that shit. That shit is so sexy to me. So with me, liking a guy that's intelligent like that, and it just turning me on and being a real turn on, I knew that I was going to end up really liking this guy, and I did end up really liking him, and I felt really bad when I did cheat, but I couldn't fight the good. Wait, no, the song "Good Vibrations" by I think that's Michael Jackson, right? I got your good vibration, I got your sweet temptation. Yeah, I'm sorry, it was just Sweet Temptations, and honestly, I felt really bad afterwards, and I tried to make things better with him, but then it just ended up falling off, and then we ended up seeing that we just weren't right for each other. But anyways, moving on. So we end up getting to his place, right? Finally, after a long train ride down there, we ended up getting to his place, and takes me to his house. We're chilling, vibing out, and I'm like, I want to take a shower. He's like, okay. So we ended up getting in the shower together. I was taking a shower. I was real happy about it. I was like, ooh, I'm in the shower with my man. Real excited to be in the shower with him. And I'm not going to lie about anything that fucking happened. So, basically, in the shower, I was, being very playful. I was trying to, and, I was trying to get him to reach the top of his mountain. When we reach the climax. Yeah, I was trying to kind of do that type of thing, but I guess he was more comfortable doing that in the bed. So we ended up coming out the shower, so then I ended up going into the bed, and we start kissing and touching up on each other. He gets sprung like Jerry Springer. He gets sprung. I'm sprung, baby. One thing about me, and I will never come on this internet and lie, with me, when I know I'm about to have sex with somebody, I'm already... Kissing, I'm not one of those guys that when you kiss them they come. Like, no, that's not me. When you kiss me, yeah, I'm gonna get sprung as well. Little Junior is gonna wake up. So my little Junior was awake and his Junior was awake. So being that they were both on Disney Junior and they were both awake, my Junior was awake and his Junior was awake. So that was kind of happening. So we tried multiple different positions. Mind you, he was trying to understand why I was so tight. And I just didn't tell him. So we ended up doing the do. It was a lot of pain because he did not know that I was a virgin. So I ended up losing it completely because he did go in, and then he was like, damn, it seems like, I guess in his head, he didn't really say too much, but I guess maybe in his head, he was trying to understand why I was so fucking tight. But I guess now you know, sir. Now you know, Joshua. Now Joshua knows as to why I was so tight. So, yeah. He ended up taking my V card. And we're just going to leave that at that. He ended up taking my V card. So, then the next couple of days, I stayed down there with him. I did not want to go back home. I stayed down there for, I think 2 more days. And then he ended up taking me back up to New York, and then that's when I ended up ultimately going home. And my mother chewed my motherfucking ass out. She fucking chewed me up, read me, and dragged me. She tried to punish me, but I was like, girl, no, we're not doing that. So I had to make up a lie to her while I was down there, and I said, oh yeah, I'm staying at Mark's house. And Mark actually covered up for me because Mark actually wanted me to be with Joshua. Out of all the guys that I found attractive that were living in Irrelevant's house, Mark only liked Joshua. Mark wanted me to be with Joshua. It was to a point where Mark had even told me, bitch, if you don't be with Joshua, I'm going to date Joshua. And you don't want me to date Joshua. I'm like, girl, but how you gonna tell me that when you're currently dating Pretty? You and Pretty are in a full-fledged relationship at this point. How are you gonna tell me that? But whatever. And I also think Mark is Asian. So Mark has this obsession over black men and Hispanic men. It's just it's a weird fucking obsession that he had, but he had that obsession over black men and Hispanic men, and that's really all he went for as far as dating goes. And it was just really fucking weird, because then it also made me feel like, damn, you like my best friend Pretty. You like Pretty because Pretty's Hispanic and black. You don't like Pretty because of who Pretty is. You like Pretty because of the race that Pretty is. That's weird to me. So yeah, so it was to that point where I had to make a whole fucking cover-up, y'all. It was a whole fucking cover-up that fucking Mark had to fucking follow through on. But yeah, y'all. Me and him, we continued to, date and talk for the next couple of months. And then as you guys know, what led up to the whole situation with me and him fighting. Y'all already know about that situation. And then after me and him kind of, like I said in that video, me and him just kind of stopped talking. We tried to talk after that and just didn't go how we wanted it to go. And we just realized we're just better off just not doing any of those things. And at the time, he had did a lot to Irrelevant. Like, he had broke a lot of Irrelevant's personal items. So Irrelevant was also still mad at him. So when Irrelevant's birthday came up, he was kind of afraid to see. He was kind of like, not afraid, but he was kind of like, I'll say Irrelevant was kind of like, why the fuck did he come? But he knew that Joshua and Frog were still friends because they were friends. They weren't friends first. From what Irrelevant told me, Irrelevant was friends with Joshua first, and then through that friendship, Frog and Joshua actually got closer, and it was also Frog too telling him, like, I really don't think you should go back with Jalen. I don't think y'all should be together. Y'all just don't work out as a couple. And that's just kind of what Frog was telling me. So yeah. But that's not what Frog was telling me. That was what Frog was telling Joshua, and I later found that out because Irrelevant, when Irrelevant's pillow talking with his man and Irrelevant's talking with his man at night, Irrelevant always used to tell me, Pretty, and Fraudulent the tea of what would go on. And mind you, at this time, I had already met Fraudulent, but the thing is, me and Fraudulent hadn't started our friendship. We had already met because a couple weeks before, remember I had told you I went to that party and Fraudulent was there, and that's when I initially met Fraudulent. But yeah, we didn't really, Fraudulent and Pretty didn't become the three amigos. We didn't become the trio until after all of this shit that happened with Mr. Joshua. And let me tell y'all, after this, I'm going to then get into the full story of what happened. And yes, I believe I talked about that I cheated on him or whatever, and I told that story time. So in the next story time that you guys see, I'm going to be getting into everything that happened after this point. But if you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys enjoyed learning that I lost my V card at 19, please give this video a big fat thumbs up. Make sure you guys stay subscribed to this channel. Make sure you guys turn on those post notification bells so you know every time that I post a brand new video. And yeah, guys, that's all for this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, girlies.